COVID-19 has become one of the most difficult tests faced by humanity in modern history. It has taken lives, overwhelmed health systems, and whatnot. With the struggling economy, leading experts have warned that almost half a billion people could be pushed into poverty due to this pandemic. In its endeavor to sensitize the government about the expectations of the corporate India, Mary Awaz reached out to business leaders for a dialogue with them on the current economic scenario. We shared five most pressing issues that today's businesses are facing with our guest speakers and sought their insights on these issues, presenting our guests with their recommendations to the government on the basis of their own journey during these difficult times. Here they are.
Actually, so that's also a very important question. Now, what we have realized during COVID, it has been uh, amplified, but otherwise also there is a lack of decentralization, of devolution. And I think that's a big systemic challenge that we are facing. And due to that, a lot of pressure gets and focused on the center, and the center takes the stress. So rather than doing that, if we practice more and more devolution. So I'll give you a small example. I come from the education sector.
Okay.
Now you know how massively it is disturbed.
Right.
Examinations, for example.
Right.
Now whether our college conducts an exam or not is determined by the university they are affiliated to. What their decision is depends on the state government. What
Right.
their decision is depends on the ministry at the center.
Right.
So there is so much of dependence on one ministry to conduct exams for crores of students in India.
Right.
But now, if our college was given the autonomy, we could have figured out कि हमारे कितने students के पास laptops and can we take the exam at home. So rather than doing everything in a very centralized way,
Right.
my suggestion, a policy request would be that let's practice more and more devolution.
Yeah.
So,
It's
and it's
kind
not
of the
just in the
empowering the businesses, the institutes,
Yeah.
the education, the entire ecosystem, empowering the entire economic ecosystem of the country.
Absolutely.
Right. That's right. That's
Absolutely.
very powerful.
Okay. Number one, that apart from that, which I have already told, but I'm repeating again, that we have to just increase the ease of doing business. Number two, we should give the timely distribution or timely disbursement of GST and income tax refunds, which are lying with the government. They are not able to give till now.
Okay.
They say, but yes, the government has not given. Number three, the cost of capital should go down. The flow of capital should speed up. Number four, there should be an MSME platform at different levels, at the level of the government, at the level of the private sector.
Okay.
For example, as to give an example, Amazon has come up with a MSME portal where they are registering exporters.
Right.
In the last 2 years, they have enrolled or registered more than 60,000 MSME
In just
for exports.
in just
Yes.
plan.
In just 2 years.
Yeah.
And they have increased the size of their export business. They should go even to the agriculture sector. It may seem bizarre what is being talked about, but no, they have to go for this industrialization of agriculture, I should say.
COVID-19 regulation guideline page. And it cannot be every state has its own version, every district has its own version, and is only creating complexity for a larger set of organizations.
Right.
Yes, there would be situations, there would be pandemics at different levels or degrees in each place. But the first set of rules which the businesses have to follow are common, right? The next set of rules are largely which are localized in nature. There cannot be too many rules.
Right.
The state has to come into place, a district has to come into place, and a local SHO defines his own set of rules.
Right.
So we cannot have that. That is very, very confusing.
Great.
I think the second is if the business has to come back, you have to look at how would safe transportation be provided.
Transportation to the people.
To people, for workers, for
Okay.
people to go to work,
Okay.
because business will need people.
Right.
So how would people come? So safe transportation, and if the government has to subsidize transportation, give it free for next few months, encourage look at that, right? So that they can maintain safety, and yet they should not be charging people in these times.
Right.
The government cannot turn to be a business. Suddenly they become very business minded. No, railways utilization is very low, so we have to charge for the full train. Come along. Don't give money.
Decision makers are of two types: the politicians who are taking certain types of decisions, and then there is the administrative arm which are executing some of those decisions. And the gap which I talked about before, between what is being announced as policy and what is being executed as implementation, we need to bridge that gap very quickly.
Right.
We need to enable small, medium enterprises and companies to grow, and to do that, first and foremost, instead of announcing these big packages to everybody, the government should start paying their own suppliers on time. My only one crisp message: the government owes the businesses today in the country more than 20 to 30 billion dollars today. The government owes people. They need to start paying. They need to start paying people. I am a small company. 1/5 of my total revenue, or in fact, more than 1/5, 30% of my total revenue is stuck with the government. All I can say is that there are many companies, and if they clear my bills of last 1 year ago, more than 365-day delay in payment, I would be a happy business. I would be employing 6 more people. I would be developing new software. I will be an innovative company. Right now, because the government is not paying everybody, not just me, I know hundreds of companies who are owed money, genuine money.
You can say I am a fan of process and systems. So, they have done a lot in terms of RERA, in terms of GST, in terms of having foreign direct investments into various verticals in a different way, also commercial as well as residential as well as hospitality. So at this moment, I can just say only that the foreign investment is the key at this moment. How to bring that foreign investment so that the Indian real estate industry can go to the next level.
Great.
I am too small a person to advise any government, but my thought for the government and policymakers is: put the problem on the table without any inhibition. The public is very intelligent. I'll give you an example of the very state that we live in. Initially, the number of tests we were doing was too less. Hence, our data was skewed. And, we spent like the entire month of March, the entire month of April, a part of May doing this. The number of tests was very less. And suddenly, the government decided, and I admire them for this, that, okay, let's make the test so easily available that anybody can walk in and get tested. Let's put the problem on the table. See, the governments who are trying to artificially reduce the number of tests because they do not want to see the surge of figures in data, they will be ending up, in a difficult situation. So in Delhi, we have, once we started putting problem on the table, once we started, after.
So you mean bring the right numbers, bring more transparency, bring the agility.
Bring more transparency. Yes. And the moment we started, we made the test, very easily accessible to
lockdown in our areas, and this I think what all can be done, government is doing. Means as an Indian citizen, I'm really happy with the way PM Modi has taken things up and I have nothing to complain, because what all I can think they should have done this. They have done that before I was even thinking.
You mean the government has been more proactive in terms of addressing the situation?
Very, very proactive. They thought about the businessman, then they said, okay, you don't need to pay loans, you don't need to do this. They instructed banks to give money, because nowadays I get so many calls, you take money from all the banks because of this. So my cash crunch, they have made sure we don't go into cash crunch. And if cash crunch is there, they are telling banks are available, everything is available, you run your economy, you run your business.
COVID is not going to go away. But what is going to happen is the number of infections is going to come down and level out. And second important thing is, we continue to need to take precautions. अगर आप ये expect करते हैं that life will become as usual as was in December 2019 or November 2019, where we would use metro without any fear or inhibition, that is not going to happen anytime soon.
No.
So I think one standard strategy that I have recommended to all my organizations is to have a COVID-19 response on their websites.
Okay.
Very clear of what do you stand for.
Okay.
And for your stakeholders, what does COVID-19 mean? How will you serve them during COVID-19 and beyond? So what can you offer them free services? So for example,
because now we have to become global leaders.
Right.
So if we have to do that, our quality standards have to be at par with what is happening at the world level, if not better. So we must keep this in mind that if I have to summarize that, do we have a learning culture? Are we enterprising? Are we at the cutting edge of technology? And then is our benchmark of the highest standard?
Yeah, I mean, positive signs which we are going to take from COVID-19 right now for next year is right now, as we had already started online classes. So parents are requesting to continue with the online classes because they don't want to send their child in this scenario to center. Few of the parents don't want to send. So right now we are planning for the next year. We will continue our face-to-face as well as online, both together, so that business can expand.
And I think we will be having two ways of growing the business, face-to-face plus online.
I mean, how you can control the outflow also in terms of optimizing the cost, sharing the cost, and something like that. Some good practices here you would like to recommend?
So it's about, when we talked about cash inflow, okay, and then the owner will decide that which project they are looking into, right? So they want to put that money into. So there, the cost management team, they will allocate proper fraction of money to that particular project.
They'll prioritize the payments. They'll prioritize the
prioritize.
Action in workforce is one thing which is going to happen. Number two, the culture of multitasking would come in force. A person who is having both a hardware engineer as well as he can do the digital marketing also. He would be preferred rather than a person having one type of work only. Number three, the demand of commercial spaces would decline a lot. Number four, the hygiene and other things that will be given more importance.
So as a business leader, I would say that we all have realized that we could more with less people. More with less, but more with less people, because people, a lot of automation will be required in everything that they're doing.
Right.
Because and we have to learn how to collaborate with people who are not next to you. A complete transformation of the way we work. So as a business leader, I think we all have come to the conclusion that in this new normal, our ways of doing business will change. How we
launched a product by name Online Consultation, which was a good seller. Means in COVID times where doctor and patient can interact
Right.
via the online consultation.
So you are becoming the bridge between them.
Yeah, we became a bridge between them, which is
very good. Yeah, which is very good. The kind of
Almost-
something telemedicines.
Yeah, it's telemedicine. We launched in first 2 weeks of COVID lockdown itself. We launched, and because that was a huge demand from our customers.
Yes.
Need to create warmth, and warmth is, and you can define warmth based on whatever you may need to define it.
Yes.
The second is look after the well-being of people around you. At home, within your family, call out people, call out friends, call out extended members, right? Parties, do whatever you can,
Yes.
right? Well-being also means that wellness from a health mind perspective.
Organization culture, if we talk about, so impact is also there. Positive, negative, both impacts are there. If I talk about the positive impacts, see, earlier the culture was to give the classes face to face, but now we're giving classes online. So the positive impact is that we are getting the students from everywhere. Since it is online.
So your business is growing?
Yeah.
Very good.
A learning culture within the organization. So a business as usual is cannot be done now. So if we are running a factory, we cannot just keep producing the same thing again and again. We have to find out how do our leadership, our engineers, our manufacturers, our workers, everyone gets enrolled in a learning culture.
Right.
So that's one thing. The second thing is an enterprising culture. So it's not that there is one entrepreneur in an organization and others are employees. No. Everyone has to think like an entrepreneur within an organization.
That mindset has to be evolved within the organization.
Exactly. Within the organization. So all the units of the organization, all the people who, as individuals in the organization, they have to have an entrepreneurial mindset.
Right.
Because situations like this can come and go. And if we are entrepreneurial, we will not just adapt, but we will also innovate and think where do we take our organization forward now.
Okay, the biggest change I can see is not only for limited to construction industry, but in totality.
Across, yes, across.
Yeah, across, is that the importance for the human being.
Yes.
That has changed. So, for example, is that I can say is that now everybody realize that how important each and every team member is.
Set of assets.
Right.
The assets could be people. If got good people, then can the good people do something else? If there were buildings, can the buildings be used to do something else? If there is money, can the money be utilized to fund other kinds of businesses that are doing these things which have got both people and assets which can be used for other purposes? So I think repurposing your assets creatively.
Culture has impacted to a large extent. It has impacted because earlier we used to have lunch together, we used to interact with each other.
Right.
That bonding, physical bonding, is always necessary and thing. So the connects which we used to have earlier, the connect programs, and where we used to meet and we used to have annual days and this and birthday parties of employees.
Right.
All these things have completely gone off.
Yeah, Dhirenji, the corona has come as a global pandemic, and it has created a big jolt and a big dent upon the world economy as well as the human civilization. It has affected the whole world, and it has affected the way of business which is being done.
The impact on the mental health.
Right.
Now, I think all of us have read very disturbing news of people committing suicide because they tested positive for COVID. There were, in Safdarjung Hospital, one in AIIMS, and there were a number of others that were reported. So there is a big, there's a rising curve of mental health issues around COVID.
The woods are lovely, dark and deep, but I have promises to keep, and miles to go before I sleep, and miles to go before I sleep. All business citizens of India echo these words of Robert Frost, which is very evident from our conversations with them, those you just saw.
Meri Awaz research team deliberated on each suggestions shared by our esteemed guests, and we have prepared the insights for your kind consideration. We shall be sharing these insights with the Government of India policymakers, trade and commerce associations for their better understanding of the ground situation. Before we move forward, I would like to thank our esteemed guests for their valuable time and pristine inputs, those they shared with us. Presenting our first insight with you. Engage proactively with public and business through the focused group of Ministers' Council to respond on real-time basis to the dynamic emerging scenarios during these COVID times. Our second insight is make governance citizen-prompted affair, leveraging technology to bring agility, transparency, and accountability in the system. Our third and final insight is for Government of India is to create national portal for job seekers duly integrated with NSDC, National Skill Development Council, for necessary free of cost reskilling if required. Thank you for watching our program Back to Business, and please keep watching our next upcoming series. In the meanwhile, subscribe our YouTube channel Meri Awaz. Thank you, and we will see you soon.